More than 50,000 bags of cocoa, oil palm fruits and other foodstuff are stuck in the Asin South district of the Central Region, and this is due to the bad nature of roads in the district. According to farmers, the situation has compelled some of them to abandon the cocoa beans in the farms because they have no strength to carry the cocoa bags themselves. Richard Kojonyako visited some of these farming communities in the Asin South district and reports the farmers have resorted to a self-help project to build the bridges over several appeals, as those appeals have not yielded any result.
Scores of farmers here at Asan Asamankese pulled resources together to buy culverts to save their thousands of cocoa bags and other farm produce from getting stuck in their farms. The road that vehicles have to use to convey their farm produce from the farm to the communities and the roadsides can no longer be used. There is no clear access to their farms, and where there is, the road is rugged and bumpy. It's a bush road. Vehicles are unable to use the road. One costs about 5,000 Ghana cedis. We need the help of everybody. Our finances are not good. We need about 20 culverts to build the roads.
Well, so we have to apologize for the absence of the sound in the inserts there. The Bosomtwe District Assembly is to set up a standing emergency services team to protect holiday makers and other visitors to Lake Bosomtwe. US-based Global Mission Readiness is in the area to train personnel for the initiative. It is part of measures to reduce or even prevent accidents, some of which have often proved fatal, especially during festive occasions. The District Chief Executive, Joseph Assuming, says security at West Africa's biggest natural lake is set to improve ultimately. Ohiminteria has more.
Lake Bosomtwe, the only natural inland lake in Ghana, is situated within an ancient meteorite impact crater. It has been a center of attraction for both tourists and revelers for entertainment activities. Such events have often turned tragic as many visitors tend to ignore safety regulations. American Emergency Services Education and Resource Provider to developing countries is assisting the District Assembly to reverse the trend. Global Mission Readiness has trained 30 people who will in turn pass the knowledge on to others in basic emergency and safety services. It also donated emergency equipment worth $8,000 to the District Health Directorate for that cause. District Chief Executive for Bosomtwe, Joseph Assuming, is excited about the development.
We are a tourist district. Most tourists come here every day, occasionally, and we need this basic first aid in health delivery. So it's come at a very opportune time. We are going to train more others so that they will be involved in healthcare delivery in the district, especially those who come to the lake during festive occasions. As a tourist center, occasionally we do have some emergencies. Now that they have been equipped, I hope that they can handle them better than they were doing before.
Global Mission Readiness is credited with similar programs in countries like Bolivia, Colombia, Peru, and Vietnam. Patrick Delay leads the team.
The training was dedicated and specifically for the department heads, the Department of the National Disaster Management Organization, the Ghana Health Services, Ghana Education Services, Ghana Fire Services. So we got all those agencies together to present them with this information. The information was basic first aid, basic splinting, airway, breathing, circulation management, CPR, which is something that's extremely important that needs to be taught all throughout Ghana.
From Kumasi, for JoyNews, Ohiminteria reporting.
Ghana's housing deficits of an estimated 1.7 million units could worsen despite state and private sector interventions, especially with current rising costs of owning a house. That's an assessment by the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology Center for Settlement Studies. The head of the center, Professor Divina Haji, says the situation could get better if attention is given to alternative and cheaper materials for building. He has been speaking with Love FM's Kwesi Debra about affordable options of laterite, which provides sand and its products for construction.
Typical of many rural communities, this and many other buildings are covered with what apparently are telephone numbers. Call it a directory, and it's all the concrete wall can boast of. As part of this 200-year-old family house at Donoso in the Ajusujwabi municipality of the Ashanti region. These are deserted living rooms which gradually will flatten under the vagaries of unfriendly and ungentle weather. Ajuasifa is a third-generation inhabitant worried about the deterioration. Our house is old, she says, so when it rains, it brings down parts of the structure. When a part breaks off, we go for some of the laterite and patch it up. We mix cement and sand to clad the wall. Unfortunately, Ghana's housing situation remains acutely inadequate. According to the Works and Housing Ministry, the country needs about 1.7 million units to cover her population. Most of the homeless fall within the low-income group, which urgently needs relief. Professor Divine Ahaji is head of settlement studies at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology.
Since independence, Malaysian government has built over 3 million houses, Singapore about 800,000 and more. Even South Africa, which became independent officially in 1994, the government has built about 3 million houses. If you take all the statistics from 1957 to now, Ghana government has not built up to 100,000 houses.
Affordable housing projects initiated 2006 to provide 2,000 units has suffered serious setbacks, for which work is yet to be completed.
Which means that when it comes to housing provision, we are in a very critical situation.
Laterite has been used for building construction since the beginning of time. In Ghana's rural areas, laterite forms the main component of building works. Of course, that is to be expected because 70% of the total surface area is actually laterite.
The Center for Settlement Studies is convinced it has the answer to Ghana's housing challenges. This structure, built over 40 years ago, is a testimony. But many are still skeptical about the durability of what is locally known as Atakwame House because it easily gives in to the weather, especially heavy rains. Henry Kwaku Buafo is architect and research scientist who, together with other colleagues, has developed new methods to deal with the defects.
The foundations are protected with simple bitumen, sand, and cement. And then you can see that everything is in order. We have done similar to the walls.
Officials at the center believe besides affordability, the technology holds much for the environment.
When you build the same laterite or Atakwame wall construction, one room with just a simple screening, you can save 62%. And so if you can see the ripple effect if you are to build in larger mass housing sizes, you know. And also with the effect of climate change, as we are talking about, you know, with laterite or like you don't use a lot of energy in terms of production and even at the construction site.
Reporting for JoyNews, Kwesi Debra.
It has emerged that the NDC team on the committee probing the cash for seats scandal is planning to issue a minority report. The 5-member committee is divided along party lines as the minority team fundamentally disagrees with the 3-member majority team on what the outcome of the investigations is. The committee was expected to present its report to the House on Thursday, but that has been postponed to today. Minority Chief Whip Muntaka Mubarak appealed for the extension on the floor of the House, but Majority Leader Oseche Mensah Bonsu said the minority is just seeking to stall the release of the report.
In any event, that cannot stop the committee from bringing their report. The committee was supposed to conclude their work yesterday, and we know they've cocooned themselves in the hotel, and they are working on it. Yesterday, they had programmed to meet at 3 o'clock in the afternoon to conclude everything in order for them to be able to submit the report today. 3 of them went to wait, and one of them was absent, the Honorable Dr. Dominica Yini. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, couldn't go. They called him, he said he will come there at 5 o'clock, he didn't go, and said to them that, okay, eventually they should give him 2 hours more, which was to lead them to 7 p.m. 7 p.m. they called him, his phones were off, for whatever reason. It was not until 12 midnight that he sent word to them to respond to their earlier calls. I mean, clearly, even the uninitiated will know that there's something at play. So this morning at the business committee meeting at about 9:30, my colleague, the minority leader, then came and informed me that the Honorable Ayine says he wants to write a minority report. That cannot delay. If you want to write a minority report, why don't you tell your colleagues? You have to tell the minority leader. I mean, clearly there's something amiss. But whatever it is, I have said to them, he says he has something to discuss with the committee. They were going to lay the report. I prevailed upon them to wait. Let them have the meeting. So eventually they agreed to have a meeting at 4. They should go and have that meeting, and tomorrow they will lay the document. So and they will debate.
This meeting is because of the demand or
because of Dominic Ayine. So they wait, whatever he has, let him come and share with the committee. They will know how to handle it, if they have to incorporate anything more, because they are telling me that all that they are doing is stringing the evidence together and then making conclusions from what the members who appeared before them and the people they invited told them. So they are stringing out the legal issues and making observations and conclusions.
The Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, will proceed to court to set aside aspects of the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice's recent findings on its investigations into the $2.25 billion bond issue. The SHRAJ cited the minister's extensive interest in the securities market through shareholding in several companies, some of which were involved in the transaction, as presenting potential conflicts of interest situations, one of the reasons why the minority in Parliament is calling for him to be sacked. Information Minister Mustafa Hamid at a news conference on Thursday, however, stated the matter of asset declaration was not before SHRAJ per the original complaint filed by the NDC's Boja Jemfi, and that the human rights body was not properly placed to make any such pronouncements regarding asset declarations. Komladum has more.
The minority MPs at a news conference Wednesday vowed to trigger a parliamentary procedure to remove Finance Minister if the President fails to act within 14 days. Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu, speaking at the news conference, said that SHRAJ findings into the matter stated clearly that the Minister broke the law.
We therefore call on the Honourable Minister to do what is honourable and accept the findings of SHRAJ and bow out and resign honourable as Minister for violating the laws of Ghana pursuant to the relevant section of Act 550.
But Information Minister Mustafa Hamid disagrees. He says the Finance Minister followed the Bank of Ghana guidelines on the matter, provisions which have been in use since 2015.
Guidelines for the issuance of bonds are given by the Bank of Ghana and not the Ministry of Finance. And the guidelines with which the 2017 bonds were issued had been in existence since 2015.
The minority is relying on portions of the findings by the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, SHRAJ, which says the Finance Minister's extensive interest in the securities market raises potential conflict of interest, the basis for their call for his dismissal. However, Mustafa Hamid says SHRAJ veered into areas it was not mandated to.
We find that SHRAJ went beyond the matter of conflict of interest to make pronouncements on other matters that it was not seized with the capacity to make. SHRAJ can only make pronouncements on conflict of interest situations, and not issues to do with bond issuance and its ancillary subjects. That subject, per the Securities Industry Act, Act 929, is reserved for the Securities Exchange Commission.
As a result, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta is headed to court to set aside some aspects of Sraj's findings, especially those in relation to his assets declaration.
The matter of asset declaration was not before Sraj, and Sraj was therefore not seized with the power to make a pronouncement on it. We find that it is these extraneous matters which Sraj commented on which have become the ammunition with which the NDC has started a new round of attacks. We hereby serve notice that Ken Ofori-Atta will proceed to the courts immediately to seek to set aside those extraneous matters in the Sraj report.
Government says the constant attacks on Ken Ofori-Atta will continue to yield no results as they only remain attempts to flog a dead horse.
And before we go, the Ghana Police Service has now made access to lodging complaints easier by introducing new websites and social media handles. This move ultimately will enable the police service gather detailed information about crime in the country more swiftly, and is not meant to replace the walking system already in place. Speaking at the launch, the IGP, David Asante-Apietu, cautioned persons who hide behind social media to engage in criminal activities to immediately halt the activities, because now it will be easier to identify them and also arrest them.
The new website is to enable the police gather detailed information about crime in the country. The website, which will provide useful information about personal and public safety and security, is expected to bridge the communication gap between the police service and the public. Inspector General of Police David Asante-Apietu said this website will quicken the process with which information gets to the police. He called on the general public to visit this new website and give out all information about criminal activities in the country.
In our quest to be a world-class police organization, it is important to gain the trust and confidence of the public through constant engagement, which is considered as an essential element of policing. With an estimate of almost 10 million internet users in Ghana, that is about 35% of our population, and about 4 million Facebook subscribers, and many more on social media messaging channels. The police service recognizes the need to tap into such potentials as a significant medium of reaching out to the public. In addition, the use of organizational websites to educate and update the public, solicit for information, or alert people to situations such as a missing and wanted persons cannot be underestimated in this contemporary policing.
The website, which is linked to the Ghana Police Service's Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube accounts, is to give people the chance to choose which website or social media handle they want to use to give out information.